starts. Stunt school. The men and women of motion pictures whose job is danger. When a scene in a motion picture is determined to be too dangerous for the actors to perform, it's the stuntman who gets the call. Now, some have called him brave, daring, even courageous, while others have called him insane, crazy, foolish. Well, we like to think of them as Hollywood gladiators.
Hollywood gladiators. An inside look at the dangerous lives of Hollywood stunt people. With your host, Dan Pastorini. And an exclusive look at some of your favorite Hollywood stunts, including RoboCop, No Way Out, No Man's Land, and many more.
Here at the Kahana Stunt School in Chatsworth, California, students are trying to get their big break in show business by learning the fine art of stunt work. Running the school is Mr. Kim Kahana.
Kahana, a veteran of television and film stunt work for over 30 years, has worked on more than 300 television shows and feature films, ranging from the film Patton to TV's Thornbirds. And for over a dozen years now, Kim has taken his expertise on the subject to the hundreds of students who are trying to make a break into show business without breaking their heads.
Kim, you could have easily continued earning a good living doing stunts yourself. Why open up a stunt school?
I opened it up mainly so that we, the stunt community, could learn more about ourselves. But then I got into the public too, because there's a lot of kids out there that want to get in, and there's nobody to help them to get in.
Are you finding it difficult to get students in?
No, not really. I got a year's waiting list, and I just opened a new school in Florida. Talking about students, I got to run.
Okay, thanks.
Take care.
All right. You know, on any given movie set, you can find people like Kim stepping in and doing stunts for stars. But there are those rare stars who still do their own stunts.
Kevin Costner, for instance, still enjoys working up a big sweat on the set.
The physical thing, you think of sometimes the most fun to me. I really don't find myself doing the movie for a club set. I mean, I'd almost ask my double to come in and do a club set if I could do the stuff. But unfortunately, I can't do everything, and I've had really good people help me in all my movies. But if I can do it, or if I can persuade anyone to let me do it, I'll do it.
He's a very, very physical guy himself. He does a lot of his own stuff. I just set it up for him, and if everything looks right, I say, yeah, we can let Kevin do it. He's done quite a bit of stuff on this himself. I've set it up, and he's gone ahead and done it.
Costner's athletic skills take him from the street to the inside of a Washington mall. It's here in the mall that Costner's character of Tom Farrell is still being pursued by two exiles from a South American death squad. And once again, Costner chooses to do the stunt himself. Having an actor perform his own stunts can heighten the realism of a motion picture by allowing the director more freedom to film the stunts from any angle. Objects actors work with can play an important part in a scene. Some props are known as breakaways because they break away on contact without hurting an actor. This is going to be a long day. But not all of the things that actors work with in stunts are quite as safe. Actress Lorraine Newman, while working in the film Invaders from Mars, for example, experienced some problems when a special effects crew simulated the back of her neck exploding.
concerned about my hair catching on fire, but they assured me that that wouldn't happen. And of course, they sprayed it down pretty wet. So actually, when it did catch on fire, it was quite a surprise. But I was not aware of it until the hairdresser told me later that that had happened.
And while filming the motion picture No Man's Land, Charlie Sheen was also injured in a stunt that went awry.
I was just running past a car with 3 bullet hits, 2 squibs that were still with Bondo. And the plan was when I get to running to the guy who's shooting at the pistol and crashing down. And shot that really essentially. The closer I was to the car, the more he was and I was just 6 inches from the car. It was just, it was not a good gun. It wasn't anywhere to spawn. It was some crossed wires or something that I can't point the finger and blame anybody.
When we come back, Kim is going to give me my first test on what being a Hollywood gladiator is really like. Now, I've had my share of knocks and spills on the football field, but after hearing Charlie's story, I'm not 100% convinced about doing this stunt. How's it going, Kim?
Almost there, Dan.
One of the most popular and dangerous forms of stunts in films involves gunplay. It's a complicated process that involves a lot more than just pulling a trigger. Let's take a look and see how stunts and guns come together on the film RoboCop.
One of the pivotal scenes in RoboCop was shot in this deserted Dallas, Texas warehouse. Kurtwood Smith portrays Clarence Boddicker, the ruthless leader of a notorious drug gang. While Boddicker and his associates are making a drug deal, they are interrupted by RoboCop, the future of law enforcement.
I'm protected! I'm not protected! You're the right to defend me!
Action will be everybody shooting, yeah? So we will be and I'll do this.
The firepower, stunts, and special effects in RoboCop are truly awesome. Here, director Paul Verhoeven consults with special effects man Dale Martin.
On action, our man can come in on action. You can see the whole wall of the machine gun and bag with bullet hits, the glass across the lights and all that. As he moves forward, we'll see some bits of cement, brown, and we'll throw some sparks off his body.
So it will be standing like this. There will be a lot of shooting. And
While Martin and his team are preparing the special effects, each scene is being carefully planned out. Because some of the action that will be taking place is considered dangerous, a stunt double for actor Peter Weller is being used. Coordinating a film sequence such as this is extremely difficult for all involved.
It was extraordinarily taxing physically. Not only that, for the stuntmen, all those guys, the 21 stuntmen, the time, all of those things at once. Wow, I'm in the suit shooting a gun and they're shooting and 4 cameras are working and the heat.
Also feeling the heat were the veteran stuntmen involved in the scene. It was Gary Cohn's responsibility as stunt coordinator to create the action that was to unfold.
Well, you have this sequence here, which is a big shootout. The robot comes in the building, kills all the baddies in the building. So that's not super dangerous. It just requires a number of stunt people, a lot of bullet hits, a lot of blood bags and things like that, which those were all mainly put on stunt people. A couple little high falls. Guys on air rams sailing through the air and through glass, being jerked back through barrels and things like that on an air ratchet. You know, the robot shoots you, gets a hold of you, superhuman strength. He shoots a lot of firepower, so they want to see the impact of it.
Explosive charges called squibs are placed by the special effects crew. These squibs, when detonated, simulate bullet hits. Special protective vests are used when placing squibs on actors. Here, special effects employ a jerk vest, a special harness worn by the actor with a hook protruding from the back. A wire is attached, and when the squibs explode, the wire is jerked and the actor will be pulled backwards, giving the effect of being blown away.
Okay, ready? Action! Kim, how much risk is involved in a stunt like we just saw in RoboCop?
Well, there's risk in every type of stunt you do, Dan.
What type of safety precautions are you going to take for our upcoming stunts?
All the proper equipment, pads, a jacket like this, and proper equipment there.
All right. Well, while I get ready for my upcoming exchange of gunplay, let's return to the set of RoboCop to see some more exciting stunts. RoboCop proved to be one picture not afraid to explore the excitement of stunt work. Here, Verhoeven and Gary Combs plan a sequence that will find Clarence Boddicker crashing through the roof and onto the solid floor below. When the stunt is finished being choreographed, placement of cameras are selected, focused, and locked into position. Okay. The stunt team prepares by placing several mattresses on the area where Boddicker will land. Kurtwood Smith's stunt double rehearses his movements in this difficult scene. Finally, with cast and crew ready, the film can be rolled. Having completed this hazardous act, the stuntman is examined for any injuries. With no harm to account for, it's time to be ushered onto the next location for yet more grueling activity. As the action continues, Kurtwood Smith is brought in for close-up. Here, Robo encounters Boddicker and prepares to hurl him through a plate of glass. Right. And action! Bob, I'm going easy. Again, there is no margin for error when executing a hazardous stunt, and safety is a top priority, and the stunt coordinator must make sure the act is performed correctly.
You become a technical advisor in certain ways. You become a safety advisor in a lot of ways. You know, because if somebody on the crew gets hurt while you're doing a stunt, it's going to become your responsibility, or they're going to come to me first and say, you know, how come that happened? Why did the car run over the guy or whatever? So, I mean, in a lot of respects, you become involved in the safety factors and things for the whole crew, not just the stunt people.
And action! The success of any stunt sequence can best be measured when seen in the final action-packed version of the film.
Come quietly or there will be trouble. Clarence Boddicker, you are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent.
All right, varmint. You ready to die? Not according to this here script, I'm not. Put that down. Now we're going to start walking. Count to 5 and draw. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah! I feel great. Let's do that one again.
Coming up next on Hollywood Gladiator, a look at stunt work from a female point of view.
Often when we think of stunts, we tend to think of men being the ones involved with this dangerous occupation. But let's face it, in a medium like motion pictures that thrives on realism, it's not going to be too convincing having a 220-pound male doubling for a Kim Basinger or a Morgan Fairchild. And that's why the stunt woman is just as important as the stunt man.
In No Way Out, one of the pivotal scenes occurs when Gene Hackman's character, David Bryce, is having a fight with his mistress, played by Sean Young.
Tell me who it is.
Gene Hackman and Sean's stunt double, Donna Evans, coordinate exactly how the fall should take place. This is important not only for safety purposes, but for camera angles as well. Next, for the impact of the body hitting a glass table, a sheet of glass was placed several feet below stationary boards holding Donna. Then, with director Roger Donaldson watching on a monitor, Donna rolls off the boards and breaks the glass. The key here is the location of the camera angles, which make it appear the body is falling from a much greater distance. Finally, after carefully noting the exact position the stunt double was in, Sean Young is brought in for close-ups. And then voila! When edited together, we have another fascinating stunt captured forever on celluloid. Kim, the one thing I was unclear about in that last stunt is how the stunt woman didn't cut herself on the glass.
Well, she could have. This is made out of candy glass and water, basically. And it's very brittle, watch. And now we're going to put you through a pane of glass.
Okay, but first, let's take a look at another one of these fearless women. One, in fact, who had to break some glass on her own. In Freeze Entertainment's Phantom of the Ball, stuntwoman Carrie Cullen was asked to double for the lead actress in the film and hang from a banner straight off the ground in a Los Angeles shopping mall. It was a stunt that involved some careful planning, some complicated rigging, and a woman with a strong heart.
Something like this, it's all rigging. The effect that they're trying to create is that there was a banner that she falls off the rafter there and catches onto the banner and it rips and she barely moves. But so we have to hide the rigging or try to put cables through my sleeve, through a harness, and then at the same time put it behind the banner so you don't really see that we had another man, the line goes to someone else, the opposite.
Any stunt person will tell you that safety is the number one priority when planning out a stunt. And Carrie, who seemed pretty confident with some strong cables around her and an air mattress underneath her, was set to go. Most of us will never get the chance to experience this unique new way of hanging out in the mall. And frankly, I don't think most of us would want to. But still, you have to wonder what goes through your mind when performing this kind of dangerous stunt.
You're watching all the rigging, just making sure that everything feels the way you planned it, and that you don't see something that's going wrong. And you're trying to remember your acting part, what you're supposed to be doing.
Carrie did such a wonderful job with the banner stunt that the producers rewarded her by having her do another stunt. That is, if you can call jumping through a window and falling 40 feet to the ground below a reward. Needless to say, this is a stunt no one would be thrilled about doing, including the person Carrie was doubling for, Morgan Fairchild.
It's always amazing to me to watch these people work. You know, it really drives home again to you that all these things that people think, oh, it's just the movies, are actually very lethal. I mean, somebody really has to do that. It's not like it's a dummy that just can't possibly get hurt. The people do get hurt and killed doing all these crazy things that audiences seem to love. So I'm very grateful that it's not the line that I chose to go into and that they hired somebody else to go through that window.
A key to a good stunt is not being able to tell that a stunt person was ever used. And in Phantom of the Mall, Carrie and the filmmakers passed with flying colors. Other than the money, why would anyone want to get involved in this profession?
Well, the money helps. But a lot of people want the prestige, the glory, and some of them, like the people that are working as a stunt person, they would like to be a stunt coordinator, or maybe a producer, actor, or even a director.
Speaking of stunt coordinators, one of the few female coordinators in the business is Sandy Gimple. Now, although Sandy's been doing stunt work for some time now, it is not the profession that she had exactly planned.
I started working in the business as a background extra and got an interview to go on a show for Lost in Space. And they asked me if I could stunt double the little boy, and I said, what's that? they told me, and the stunt coordinator was Paul Stater, and he had a gym in Santa Monica at the time, and we're talking a long time ago. And I went there and learned how to do stunts and worked on lots of faces for years.
Today, though, it's Sandy who is teaching stunts, and for the film 7 Hours to Judgment, Sandy hired Mary Hartwick, whose first job as a stunt woman was to double for actress Julianne Phillips.
Physically, she knows what she's doing. So her timing is good and her coordination is good. And we just literally had to walk through what she had to do. And more than anything else, I really had to just show her how to do the stunt and be in the situation that Julianne was in, feeling how she would feel so that it came across real.
Working with someone who has never performed stunts before proved to be an interesting challenge for Sandy. But through her years of experience, she had a new student performing like an old pro in no time.
Julianne at this point was supposed to be drugged and dizzy, and she falls almost into a hole. And what I did with Mary was say, you know, think about if you were drunk or if you were drugged and you were dizzy and how you would feel in that situation. And then you know the steps, you know how to do the stunt. So now what you have to do is relax into it and, you know, and actually feel like you're going to fall.
We'll be seeing more of Sandy Gimple's work a little later on in the show. But right now, Destiny is calling me. And unfortunately, Destiny is on the other side of that glass. Fine. You think I can make it as a stuntman?
This is what you might call a little hobby of mine, race car driving. Some people think I'm crazy driving an automobile at speeds of over 290 miles per hour. But if you want to see crazy, take a look at these people. Earlier, we looked at the No Way Out chase sequence on foot. But actually, the pursuit begins by automobile. And that meant closing off a section of one of Washington's busiest freeways.
We shot on a freeway, which we were able to get the DC police to close down a whole stretch of the freeway, but we only had, you know, X amount of time. And in making a movie, you can plan, but you always have to be prepared for something to go wrong.
Making sure nothing goes wrong is Kevin Costner's double and stunt coordinator, Diamond Farnsworth. Here Farnsworth discusses with director Roger Donaldson the best way to stage a car crash on the freeway. Organizing a stunt like this can be a challenge, even for the most experienced stunt coordinator.
A lot of concern goes in when you start talking to these people about, you know, what we're going to do on the freeway. And it's, you know, sometimes it's scary. You see, you know, a car is not supposed to be in that spot, but you have to go on with the shot. You don't know if you can go around him or if you back off. So basically that's one of the toughest parts about going out of town to shoot these big car scenes.
With that thought in mind and all of the details worked out, the stunt can take place. The success of the stunt driving earns the admiration of Kevin Costner. In the Charles Bronson film Murphy's Law, the car stunt was combined with a whole trend of sugar-coated glass window. Now, these cars are toys, but they're part of a real game plan to plot the moves of a stunt car as it careens through an intersection and into a crowded diner. Then, a stunt woman is brought in to double for actress Kathleen Wilhoit.
They got one of the best drivers in California. She won all these motorcycle races and all these things. To be my driver, man, did she make me look good, you know. Screeching on one wheel, goes through this window. I'm not going to tell anybody it's not me. Yeah, that was a tough scene.
Director J.D. Thompson and director of photography discussed the camera angles while their crews methodically checked the various cameras that will capture the one-time only stunt. Thompson himself then climbs into the stunt car in order to get a first-hand look for the dry run. The stunt people are positioned in the restaurant and cameras are strategically placed. a rousing success. Kathleen Wilhoit and the stunt woman trade places once more as Kathleen climbs out of the car and takes off running. Now let's take a look at this dynamic action sequence. Coordinating a one-car stunt can be a real headache, but three? Well, that's exactly what Sandy Gimble was faced with in 7 hours to judgment. And trust me, you don't learn this kind of stuff in driver's ed. Sandy was given a mere 3 days to invade the streets of Seattle, Washington with her stunt drivers and capture an elaborate chase scene on film. Given the short amount of time Sandy has available, she begins by sorting out the where, when, and how with her stunt team.
We'll do the nearest pause right here in this intersection. Okay, and probably goes 180 clear. We'll cross after you on that side of the bit, the yellow line.
The first portion of the stunt is done at about half normal speed for rehearsal to determine if Sandy's plan will work. Confident it does, the drivers shift into high for the actual take. From there, the procedure is repeated as the stunt moves throughout the streets of Seattle. The chase then reaches its conclusion as one of the taxis flips over this ramp. This being the most difficult part of the chase sequence, everyone is made well aware of what their job is during the stunt. From extras, to cameramen, to those building the specially designed ramp, the stunt success will be a true team effort. The 3 days that Sandy Gimble and her crew spent chasing around the streets of Seattle become one harrowing chase sequence in an exciting 7 hours to judgment. Driveway comes more four-wheel terror.
We're going to put the Z28 off this pipe ramp here through the side of this 40-footer. We've got a score some plus to it really. So we put it out about 75 feet on the other side, hit the ground, tumble over a few times, and that's basically the whole stunt. Yeah, this is what you might call pretty dangerous. It's one you want to do all precautions, and there's quite a few things that can go wrong, but we hope we got our bases covered. We got fire extinguishers out in the area where it's going to be touching down. We've got one of the best roll cages possible to put in the top of the car. All the safety procedures that we would normally use for jumping cars, we're turning them over, we've used them all. So we're just covering all our bases and hope there isn't comes out.
It will it'll pop in the air, but it'll also twist through and turn over and land hopefully on its roof on the back side. You're going to be driving.
Russell Solberg is one of the world's most experienced stunt drivers, but on this one, even he is a bit nervous.
I'll close my eyes about right here.
Second unit director Jim Arnett gives some last-minute instructions.
Ready now, and all 4 cameras.
Tension builds among the crew because on this stunt there is only one chance, one take. There is no room for error. And the stunt goes off perfectly. Safety men are quickly on the scene, and after a few anxious moments, Russell emerges from the car. Solberg has managed to escape this stunt completely unharmed. And as congratulations go around, this is one stunt Russell is likely to remember for a long time. Now let's watch the stunt as it appears in the completed version of No Man's Land.
You guys ever give up? I do this for a living.
kind of car stunt. Kim, why don't you explain what you're about to do?
I'm going to take a couple students here, and then I'm going to make them walk in front of a car. I'll be driving about 3 to 6 miles an hour. The illusion will be that they jump on top of the car hits them.
Now, if you were shooting this for a feature film, how fast would the car be traveling?
Approximately 20 to 30 miles an hour.
Well, is there any danger in this?
You could kill them, break their legs.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go do it. All right. Great job. Michael, you all right? Good job. That was really neat. Brian, how you feeling?
I kind of hit my shoulder a little hard on that one.
Staging a good fight sequence may look deceivingly easy, but that's not necessarily the case, is it, Kim?
No, it's not. It's very hard. Let me demonstrate something to you.
Action! That's really something. Now let's see how something like this makes it to the big screen. Let's take a look at how actors Eileen Davidson and Paul Lamont made out when fists were flying in the action comedy film Easy Wheels.
They wanted to do it themselves. I wanted them to do it. It wasn't, from an acting standpoint, it wasn't difficult stunt work. But there are some actors who would choose not to do it. They enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. She got some bruises on her arms from blocking punches, and when she kicked Paul in a certain vulnerable area, she actually kicked him. That's happened a couple times in the film, but he's a trooper, and he went with it. We did another take. That was the most convincing take, however.
Ow!
That hurt?
No.
Can I do it harder?
Do what harder?
I am trying to work on the scene. This harder.
Ow!
We just went and did it. We had a stuntman there, of course, who was showing me how to fake the punch and the kick and the whole thing. But I work out, thank God, so it's not like, I don't know. I kept saying, do I look like a girl throwing these punches? But I was really going for it, so, I think it should come across pretty good. It was so much fun. I had so much fun. I loved it.
Okay, Dan, this is how we throw a punch. We exaggerate. See, the idea is to exaggerate so that the camera can make a good hit.
Okay.
You turn it this way, and you do it, there's a big miss. Okay?
All right.
So now I think you can do it. Take a nice big punch.
I think I can handle it.
Sure.
So exaggerate.
Exaggerate the punch.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty easy. I mean, I need something more of a challenge here, Kim.
I've got an idea.
I'm assuming the biggest key to doing a stunt like this is getting over one's fear of heights.
Well, that'll help quite a bit.
High falls have long been a part of movies. In House on Carroll Street, Kelly McGillis is being pursued by actor Mandy Patinkin when the roof he is on gives way, leaving only a net to hang on to keep from falling. To accomplish this, a collapsible roof was built on a studio soundstage, and stuntman Harry Madsen, with some guidance from director Peter Yates, literally found himself hanging on by a thread.
Stand by. Action!
Then with some insert shots of the net tearing and close-ups of Mandy, this climactic scene to House on Carroll Street is another piece of stunt work for Harry Madsen to add to his resume. Kim, this looks pretty easy for me. I think I just have more fun watching you guys do it.
You're not scared, are you, Dan?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't want a wimpy old ex-jock to be scared now.
You're not hurt, are you? While Kim and the boys are preparing my next stunt, one factor to remember is that it doesn't take some huge budget from a major studio to make great stunts. In fact, the action comedy Easy Wheel proves that there is no price tag on good stunts. Paul LeMat plays Bruce, who experiences some intense visions at some very inopportune times. In this scene, one of those inopportune times occurs with Bruce on his cycle and a semi-truck heading straight for him. Stuntman Andy Gill was brought in to double for Paul LeMat and coordinate this extremely dangerous stunt.
You read it script-wise, you go into production meetings, you discuss it with the director, the angles he wants to shoot, what he actually wants to see on film. The coordinator, which means gets with him, gets with special effects, gets with all the different departments. You have camera department, you have the set decorators that have to build the pottery stand that I went through. It's a lot of departments that have to coordinate together. When a stunt like that works, it's not just the stuntman that make it work. If the pottery stand wasn't built right, it wouldn't work. If the cameraman didn't get it, it wouldn't work. You just have to meet all the minds together at one and come up with one conclusion.
Driving the semi that will be barreling down the road toward Andy is Al Jones, who despite his expertise in driving semis, is not about to take this stunt casually.
No matter how many times you've done the same thing over and over, each one is just a little different. Even though to Andy, a bike laydown is basically very simple. When you lay a bike down, he's coming around, I'm guessing around 40 miles per hour, and I'm coming in at 35. So if you come head on, that's 70 miles, 75 miles per hour. So I'd say it's a little more than the norm. You know, it gets your heart pumping.
One of the toughest aspects of being a stuntman is trying to keep your family from worrying every time you perform a stunt. Andy Gill's wife is one spouse who has mixed feelings about her husband's profession.
She's proud of what I do. She enjoys what I do. She just doesn't really want to know what I do. Anytime I work, even if I'm not doing anything big, she likes for me to call as soon as I get home from work. I've been injured one time in the 8 years I've been working. She was with me then, so she knows what it feels like when your husband gets hurt. You be as safe as you can, and she realizes the business I'm in. And she knows that I love the business and I wouldn't want to do anything else.
Hi, I'm Dan Pastorini, and in case you're just tuning into the show, I'm about to become a Human Torch. Kim, what am I going to be wearing, and what are we going to do now?
We're going to do a fire gag, what we call in business. You have the proper equipment to put on, and then we're going to put this overhauls over you, and then I'm going to put some solution on you and set you afire.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Well, fire burns and high falls have been a part of stunt work for years, and both played an extremely important part in the movie Phantom of the Mall. Stuntman Randy Hall was given the task of stunt doubling as a title character in Phantom of the Mall, and that meant some pretty rigorous work. Like his co-worker, Kerry Collin, who we met earlier, Randy's stunt involved swinging from the mall banner. Only Randy had to swing from the rafters to the other side of the mall.
The first thing you order when you're doing a stunt of this nature is 4 pair of underwear from the wardrobe, because you're going to soil them all.
Coordinating this stunt, as well as Kerry, was David Zaletti, who had some initial concerns over this particular stunt.
I really personally felt the most difficult stunt was going to be the swing down from the banner, only because of the rigging entailed, working up in the high rafters 75 feet above ground. We always kind of had an inkling that would be the tough one.
As added protection, pads are strategically placed for where Randy will land. Then, with Randy's okay, the stunt takes place. When the time arrives for the Phantom to meet his demise in a sea of flames, David turns to John Myers, who, not unlike myself, undergoes the same process before being doused in flames.
He had to have a fire suit, which him and Mick Rogers developed this particular fire suit that we did use. And him and Mick are together on this sequence. Mick basically would help him establish himself with this fire suit, put on the suit, put on all the preparations for the suit, approach the ramp to do the fall with, and then Mick also would paint them with the rubber cement, which ignites the flames. And Mick ignited him, and then from that point on, it's John.
Needless to say, any kind of stunt work requires the person to be in great physical shape. However, that's only half of what is needed to be a successful stunt person.
I think mentally you have to prepare yourself to do the gag that is required to do. If you're physically fit and able to do it, then you're 3 steps ahead of the game. And then your mental capacity has to kick in. And you have to be willing mentally as well as physically to go ahead and go for it.
Now, let's look at this hot piece of stunt work from Phantom of the Mall.
Okay, are you ready? Ready? Okay, I'm gonna get you. Get down, get him, hit him. Woo! You got hot, yeah.
Oh, baby! I want to thank Tim Kahana and the folks here at Kahana Stunt School for taking the time to show us how some of their amazing work is done. And it's important to remember that I was working with professional people who do this for a living. Don't even think about trying any of these stunts on your own. Besides, if you're really interested in doing this kind of work, then enroll in some professional classes like Kahana and learn stunt work the right way. And who knows? Maybe then you'll be part of our next special. I'm Dan Pastorini, Hollywood Gladiator.